Trying to make it fast, I will describe how simulation can help in the certification process. So first of all, say that simulation is not a goal, it's a mean. If we think about on how the airframe manufacturer or the aerospace industry are trying to enhance their aircraft, make them more performant, sell them more easily and so forth, we can think about how they follow the scientific research agenda of Accademia, and we have a list of topics that people are pursuing via research. And as a matter of fact, it involves that we need to face new technologies. And we heard about how systems are becoming more complex and so forth. It is true that systems are becoming more complex, but something is happening. I think the new technologies, there are things we don't know, we have no experience. I will give an example on composite aircraft and energy dissipation at the end of these few slides. So all along those domains, MSc as other companies provide tools to help you investigating and preparing the certification or the understanding of what you design. So we have example around the engine activity. We can speak about how we need also to reduce noise and improve the noise of the aircraft. So we also provide solutions around noise and how to make aircraft more silent. We got some mention about materials. I think materials is a very, very important point because it was mentioned earlier in few presentations. In the past, we got one material to the aircraft. It was well known. Engineers got experience, no need to understand how it behaved. Now we need to include that information into the simulation model. So that's also a domain where we need to expand the capabilities and the know-how. Finally, I come to the point I mentioned at the beginning, how simulation can help to go or to drive to virtual certification. So virtual certification to me today is the holy grail. We are not tomorrow going to fully certify the aircraft maybe by this means. However, thinking about some of the examples we covered along the European project Crescendo, some of the topics were this energy dissipation. Energy dissipation, when you think about composite aircraft, you don't really know how the aircraft is going to dissipate. You don't really know how the new equipment that you have to include in that new aircraft is going to behave. So this is where simulation can help. Because at that stage, simulation is not going to help you to go directly for the certification. However, simulation is going to help you to understand the various configuration and evaluate the various configuration from which you will make a choice and you will derive fewer choices till you go maybe at the end to a physical certification, but with a very narrow choice instead of doing many simulations. We heard about introducing simulation earlier in the life cycle, and as far as I understood, Mike, the idea from this standpoint was to say we can put up front in the CAD design more simulation to improve. That's definitely a direction we also support and follow, but I think we would like to go one step further. Is when an architect, when an aircraft architect has to make a decision on a set of configuration prior, he defined the definition or a more detailed definition of the aircraft. He has to make decisions on something that is not a CAD model, something that is not a 3D idealization. He has to get a system representation of the aircraft and evaluate with the simulation expert what are the choices about those configurations. And this is at that stage that we can have simulation way up front in the development life cycle of the aircraft. This is where we can also provide to people, to the stakeholders, what was described by Andrea as a dashboard. It can be even much more than a dashboard. It can be a decision environment. In some project, we spoke about an architect cockpit to understand what's going to be the behavioral representation of the aircraft. Again, way before we might have finite element or CAD representation. Of course, we want also to maintain, while we do those various configurations, we want to maintain the traceability of that decision. I spoke yesterday with Laurent and said from the certification standpoint, I'm not so much interested in having the full traceability. I request the dossier, I get the dossier and evaluate the dossier, and that's all. That's true. However, when you want to prepare that dossier from the manufacturer standpoint, you need to understand and trace what are the decisions that drive you to the dossier you are preparing. And this is where the traceability becomes much more important. Of course, we can include, but I'm already late, if we want to have this full view of simulation around the life cycle, we need to be able to collaborate, we need to be able further down the life cycle to represent multidisciplinary environment, we need to be able to exchange that information and therefore to have common data model. We have the experience of LOTA projects and other projects elsewhere. We can speak about Crescendo. Common data model is also a domain where MSc has worked a lot to enable multidisciplinary collaborative simulation. And as the timing is going on, I think I will stop there.